2017 Masters, let's dive right in. My name is Troy Klongerbaum, I'm the editor-in-chief of US Golf TV. I've got a couple guys here. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to kind of give you guys some guys to look at, some favorites I'm looking towards, some sleepers I'm looking towards. I'll give you guys some odds. We don't encourage betting here, but these are units we're talking about. And we're going to get kind of prepped for this Masters tournament. It's going to be awesome this year. So first of all, I wanted to dive into a few guys that I think are going to be favorites this year. Now, we're filming this a few weeks before the Masters, so things are going to be changing a little bit. But a few guys I really like, both of them are at 30-1 odds, Justin Thomas and Phil Mickelson. Now, I'm going to start with Justin Thomas. He had a great start to the year. He won 2 tournaments to start the year off. He played, I believe it was Sony, and both tournaments in Hawaii. I think he was almost 50 under par in 2 tournaments. His putting, actually, in the 2017 season, is better than it's been at any point in his career. And we all know he already hits the ball a long ways. He's starting to put that putter, into play and starting to improve those statistics. And I think that's going to benefit anybody who knows that to play well at the Masters, you got to be able to putt. Justin Thomas is doing that. He's got the length, he's got the game, he's got the swagger. He actually made the cut last year too, had a really bad Saturday, but I think Justin Thomas is the guy that you guys should be looking at. 30-1 is decent. If you guys can find him 40 to 50-1, I think he'd be a great buy. And talking about Phil Mickelson, obviously 3-time green jacket winner. From 1998 to 2012, Phil Mickelson finished outside the top 25 once in the Masters. Now since then, since 2012, he's actually missed the cut twice and didn't play once. So I think these odds would typically kind of be in that 18 to 20-1 because of Phil's pedigree, his play at the Ryder Cup last year, things he's done early in the season. But because of his last couple performances at the Masters, I think you'll be able to actually buy him a little bit lower than you typically would have in the past. And I think that's a good buy. I think Phil Mickelson's a great look this week. Now I'm going to dive into 3 guys you can look at as sleepers. The first guy I'm going to talk about is a guy who just won at Bay Hill a few weeks ago. His name is Marc Leishman, Australian. Many of you know him. He's rated at 100-1 in this Masters tournament. And he's only had one good performance in the Masters. It was 2013. It was the year that Adam Scott won. Marc Leishman played alongside Adam Scott on that Sunday and actually finished in a tie for 4th. There's a really cool image of when Adam Scott makes the putt in the 18th hole. Marc Leishman's in the background celebrating because it would be Australia's first Masters champion. That's actually the only good performance that Marc Leishman's ever had at the Masters. He's missed a couple cuts. He hasn't played a couple times. He actually had a scare with his wife when he was playing great a few years back where they thought that she might die and he had to withdraw from the Masters. So he wasn't in the Masters until he won at Bay Hill. He played great at Bay Hill. He's at the game. He's got a top 5 pedigree at the Masters. You can buy him pretty low. He's mega talented. I think Marc Leishman's a guy to just look at it. Especially, I think he'll be a top 10 type player and he'll be on the leaderboard come Sunday. Another sleeper I want you guys to look at is Matthew Fitzpatrick. So last year, young Englishman, looks like he's about 14. He's actually 23, I think. He's 100-1 odds, and last year he shot a Sunday 67 that pulled him into the top 10, which no one really saw him as a contender. No one really saw him as a guy that was doing anything, but that Sunday round vaulted him up, shows he can play the golf course well, shows he has confidence. He had a great Ryder Cup last year. He's had a couple really nice starts, 2 top 20s, both at Bay Hill and in Mexico. Fitzpatrick, he may not be quite there where he's going to win the event, but I do think Fitzpatrick at 100-1 is worth the odds. And if you can find a place for him, maybe like in a top 5 type deal, he might be a sneaky guy, especially seeing he saw an Englishman win last year, Danny Willett. Maybe this is Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's one of those great young players. He'd be a guy to look at, and I think you should definitely take a deeper dive. One other guy, I'm going to go a little bit with my heart here. He got into the field last year when he finished tied for 4th in the British Open. Steve Stricker. Now, Steve Stricker is one of my favorite players. I hope Steve's watching this. If he wants to reach out to me, I know he's on Twitter. Find me, Steve. We'll tweet and we'll set up a round of golf in the Midwest somewhere. But anyway, Steve Stricker's 200-1 odds to win this Masters. Now, I don't think he's going to win it. I would love to see him put on a green jacket. But he's now 50, so he played in the Champions Tour event. He actually played the Champions Tour event a few weeks ago down in Tucson and was tied for the lead with Tom Lehman down the stretch and actually lost on the 18th hole. But you could show us his game is right there. The way he got into this tournament was last year's British Open when Phil Mickelson and Henrik Stenson were so far out in front of the field. Steve Stricker actually finished 16 shots out of first and 12 shots out of second and still finished inside the top 4. But that top 4 was enough to get him into this Masters. 200 to 1 odds. See if you can shop around odds for him on like a top 10 finish. You may be able to get a really good bargain because he's one of the best putters that the PGA Tour has ever seen. He's obviously been playing good, even with his tough stuff on the Champions Tour, been taking time off. I think he'd be a great deep sleeper dive, and he might be able to get you guys some value there. As far as my winner, I'm going to do the same thing I did last year. I honestly don't think I'm going to stop picking him until he wins a green jacket. It's Rory McIlroy. He's my pick to win it again this year. He was my pick to win it last year. His game is set up too good for Augusta. He's got all the tools needed. He's obviously played well at Augusta in the past. For Rory, really at this point, it truly is all in between the ears. I think he gets really amped up for this event. It's the last one he needs for a Grand Slam. I think he really wants to win this one. I mean, obviously he wants to win this one, but I think it's starting to press. If he can figure out in between the ears how to calm himself down a little bit, get prepared. I think Rory McIlroy, I'm going to probably pick him every single year until he actually wins it, because there's no way he goes his entire career without a green jacket, and I think he's going to do it. As long as he can stay out of the trees and out of the houses on the left of 10 like we saw in 2011. That was ugly. If he can avoid those types of calamities, I think he'll be a great, I mean, you can't get him cheap. He's going to be one of the favorites, no doubt, but he's my pick this year, Rory McIlroy, 2017 Masters champion. I'll pick him along with hundreds and hundreds of other people, and when I'm right, I'll probably brag on Twitter about it, just like everybody else can. But that's my pick. That's my preview. Those are my guys: Marc Leishman, Steve Stricker, and Matthew Fitzpatrick on the sleeper end. I think Phil and Justin Thomas are both kind of two of those kind of middling contenders at the top that you may be able to get good value on. And then my winner this year is Rory McIlroy. So guys, enjoy Augusta. It's awesome. Best time of the year, and we got a full summer of golf ahead of us, so what a great time. Hey, before you guys leave, hold on. Subscribe on our channel. We got a lot of stuff going on here. We got instruction. We've got all sorts of tips. By subscribing, we can get in touch with you guys easier, better, faster. Perfect. Have a great rest of your day.